Experts estimate that over 40% of today's skills will be irrelevant by 2030. Not just some skills, and I'm not talking about entry-level skills. 40% of what professionals are building their identity around right now. So let me ask you something. If I asked you what skills will make you future-proof in the AI era, could you answer it in 10 seconds? Now, most people are not able to answer this question. Not because they are not smart, because the entire conversation on LinkedIn, in AI courses, inside companies, it's all about tools. Which tools to use, how to prompt them, how to use them. Nobody is really talking about the skills that actually compound. I've spent 25 years building products used by millions of people. I've been through 4 technology disruptions. The professionals who thrive through these moments are never the fastest adopters. They are the ones who figure out where the value is moving before everybody else does. So today, we'll talk about 10 specific skills, not tools, not prompts, skills that will define who leads and who gets left behind. Before we get to the list, there's one distinction that matters for everything that follows. Not one of these 10 skills requires you to master a specific AI platform. Platforms change, models get replaced, the tools you invest in deeply today may be obsolete in 18 months. What doesn't change is judgment. Every skill on this list is a judgment skill that uses AI as an input. It's not a tool skill that treats AI as the destination. That distinction is the whole game. Skill number 1, outcome framing. This is the foundation. Everything else builds on it. Now, most professionals do it backwards. They'll start from an AI capability, look what this tool can do, and then search for applications of that tool. Outcome framing reverses the question. What am I fundamentally here to create? And what's the best path to that given every tool that is available to me today? So the best tool for this I've ever seen is what is called PRFAQ, an Amazon framework that I use constantly. Before you build anything, write a press release announcing the finished product as if it's already launched. So what problem does it solve? Who is it for? What does the customer say? And then write the frequently asked questions or FAQs. Every hard question that any skeptic would ask. Don't overlook anything. That discipline forces you to get crystal clear on the customer outcome before you've touched a single AI tool. Then you build. So the sequence is PRFAQ, followed by a prototype with AI, followed by showing that prototype to customers and getting customer feedback, followed by refining the requirements, and then actually building the tool. AI is extraordinary at the middle of that sequence. The judgment at the beginning and the end, that is entirely human. So outcome framing is what keeps you in the leadership seat, deciding what AI should work on rather than in the execution seat, operating whatever AI puts in front of you. Skill number 2, AI judgment. Now, everybody is learning to use AI better, but nobody is talking about the judgment to decide how to use it or whether to use it at all. For any workflow step, whenever you are building a product, you have 3 options. You can route that request to an AI model, a deterministic workflow, or a human operator. Getting this wrong is expensive in 2 completely separate ways. Let's talk about customer experience for a moment. Not everything should actually go to AI. As an example, an emotionally charged complaint handled by AI could be technically accurate, but it feels cold and makes things worse. Similarly, a simple query that's routed to a human creates unnecessary wait time. So matching the handler to the situation determines the quality of the customer experience that you actually create. Second, let's talk about the cost implications. AI models actually aren't free. At millions of interactions, throwing everything at a frontier model, when a simple rule handles 80% of the cases just as well, it isn't a technical failure, it's a judgment failure. Same product, three different handlers, each chosen based on the complexity, stakes, and cost. Now, that is AI judgment, and that's something you should learn. Skill number three, prompt architecture. Now, I'm not talking about clever prompting tricks. Prompt architecture is about structuring complex problems clearly enough so that AI can actually solve them. The quality of what AI produces is directly proportional to your problem decomposition. So, a vague brief to a consultant produces expensive confusion, and similarly, AI is no different. So, let me give you an example of a weak brief. You could ask AI, hey, give me a go to market strategy for a new product, and hope that it will turn out something meaningful. But a seasoned AI operator will give a strong input, which is clear. As an example, they would say B2B SaaS mid market HR teams' primary differentiator is 48-hour implementation versus 6-week industry standard. 8-person outbound sales team. Goal is 20 enterprise pilots in Q3. What are the three highest leverage go to market moves for the next 90 days? And what are the key risks to each? Same tool, completely different output because the thinking happened before the prompt. Treat every significant AI interaction like writing a brief. Include context, include constraints, include decisions, include format, include success criteria, and see AI work its magic for you. Skill number four, output evaluation. Now, as AI generates more and more, faster and more confidently, knowing when to trust it becomes a scarcity. AI outputs are not neutral. They hallucinate with a lot of confidence. They optimize for plausibility, not accuracy. They are extraordinarily good at sounding right when they are completely wrong. So there are four questions that you should ask for every significant AI output. Number one, what is this optimizing for? Not what you asked for, but what it's rewarding you with. Second, what is missing? Now, it could be local context, it could be organizational nuance, it could be genuinely novel situations, but ask that specific question. Number three, where could this be wrong? Not a broad question like, hey, is it wrong or is it right? But where specifically could this be wrong? And finally, would I stake my professional reputation on this without verifying it? So build a personal checklist of 5 most common failure modes in your domain. Use it before you ship anything AI assisted. And over time, you'll see that it will become your instinct. Skill number 5, second order thinking. Now, most professionals think one level deep. Something happens and they ask, what's the immediate result? And then they stop there. Second order thinking asks, and then what? It traces the downstream consequences that most people never reach. Let's take a simple example of the gym. The first order is that you burn calories. Now stop there and you've missed the point. Because second order consequences of going to the gym are that you sleep better, your energy improves, your confidence grows, your decisions get sharper. The gym was never just about calories. Now apply that to AI. First order of AI resume screening as an example. So your time to shortlist drops, your recruiting throughput goes up. It's a real story. There's a legitimate benefit to it. But as second order consequences, as AI screens for pattern match, keywords, credentials, and trajectories resembling past hires, what is it doing? It's structurally biased towards conventional profiles, which basically means that the unconventional background, the adjacent domain expertise, the raw potential that doesn't show up in a resume, they now become an arbitrage opportunity. So the leader who develops the judgment to see what AI misses will build materially better teams than the leader who trusts the ranking only. So second order thinking doesn't just make you better at using AI. It shows you where AI creates new advantages for humans with the right judgment. Skill number 6, cross-domain synthesis. Now, AI goes deep within domains faster than any human can. What it does poorly is connect across them. Seeing what customer success data means for product strategy and what engineering constraints mean for a sales narrative, what a regulatory shift in one industry signals for another adjacent one, those are things that AI completely misses. Now, as AI handles the within domain work, cross domain synthesis becomes the primary differentiator. The T shaped professional, deep in one area but broad across many, has always been valuable, but in the AI era, that breadth dimension is the moat. Skill number 7, contextual judgment. AI generates outputs without context. Now, it doesn't know that the VP of engineering and VP of product have had a simmering tension for 2 years. It doesn't know that the initiative that failed in 2019 left a scar in the organization and that still afflicts the organization. It doesn't know that the CEO reads data differently in public than in a one-on-one, but you do. Now, that knowledge, that invisible, uncodified knowledge that's accumulated through years of showing up, is an extraordinary asset. It deepens every year you invest in it. Pay attention to the patterns that aren't in any document, and you'll set yourself to win in the AI era. Skill number 8, stakeholder navigation. Now, as AI handles more of the analytical and generative work, the work that remains most visibly human and most visibly senior is navigating the human system. The relationships, the politics, the trust, the influence. Reading a room, knowing when to push and when to pull back. Building the coalition that gets a good idea funded. Earning the trust that means your judgment gets acted upon without requiring you to prove yourself every single time. This is the primary currency of senior leadership, and it compounds in a way no tool or skill can. Skill number 9, AI workflow design. This is the most operationally specific skill on the list and one of the highest leverage ones if you're managing teams. Now, AI workflow design is knowing how to architect processes where humans and AI work together effectively, where the handoffs are, where accountability must stay human, where AI creates leverage versus where it creates risk. Most organizations are getting this badly wrong. Either they are automating too aggressively and removing human judgment where it's still needed, or not automating at all because nobody has thought carefully about where AI should fit. The leader who can design the right hybrid system, who understands both organizational dynamics and AI capabilities, is doing something that's genuinely scarce. Skill number 10, narrative and communication. Now, as AI generates more and more data, more analysis, more options, the human bottleneck moves. It's no longer in the production of information. It's in synthesis and communication of it. In 10 years, every executive will have access to AI that can analyze any data set, generate any report, model any scenario. The differentiator will be the person who can take all of that and tell a story that the board actually acts on. So two leaders, same AI generated market analysis, one presents the data, the other tells the story of what that data means, what's at stake, what the organization should do differently, and why now. Same information, completely different impact. So every time AI generates an analysis, practice asking, what's the one thing that matters most over here? What's the implication? What's the story I tell a smart person who has 5 minutes and no patience for data? that translation from AI output to human decision, that is the skill. So 10 skills, one thread running through all of them. Outcome framing, AI judgment, prompt architecture, output evaluation, second order thinking, cross domain synthesis, contextual judgment, stakeholder navigation, AI workflow design, narrative and communication. Not one of them is a tool skill. Every single one is a judgment skill, a thinking skill. Made more valuable, not less, by the fact that AI is handling more of the production work. The AI era doesn't diminish the value of human judgment, it concentrates it. As AI automates more and more of the execution layer, the judgment layer becomes the entire game. And that is the career move that AI cannot automate. Now, before you watch anything else, pick one skill from this list, the one that felt most relevant to where you are right now, and write down one concrete thing that you'll do this week to start building it. Not a course to sign up for, not a book to order. One action this week. The shift doesn't happen from watching videos, it happens from doing something different. So if you want to go deeper, I'm running a free 45-minute live session on Maven called How to Make the Career Move AI Can't Automate. We work through the frameworks live with a cohort of peers going through the same transition. Subscribe if this series is useful. Drop a comment on which of the 10 skills you are going to focus on first. I read every comment and I'm genuinely curious about what this list surfaced for you. So see you in the next one.